At 1:56 a.m., the black sedan rolled to a stop outside the weathered walls of Precinct 86. Commander Alana Reed cut the engine, gripping the wheel tightly as the leather of her gloves creaked. She wasn't nervous. No, she was ready. Ready to walk into a building where the walls whispered, "You don't belong." Alana Reed was the first black woman ever appointed to lead Precinct 86. No press, no ceremony, just a cold name change on a forgotten memo. She straightened her uniform, checked her badge, and stepped out into the stale morning air. 3 white officers by a patrol car noticed her. Dalton, the tallest, squinted. Marks, his smug partner, stepped forward. "Hey, community center's 2 blocks down," he mocked. Mason, the third, looked uneasy but stayed silent. Alana ignored them until Marks blocked her path. "ID. Lost, lady." She slowly looked down at her badge glinting in the faint light, then locked eyes with Marks, silent but fierce figures. Another activist filming TikToks. Dalton sneered. An older man with his dog stopped. "That's Commander Reed," he said quietly. Silence fell like a hammer. Alana walked past them without a word. Inside, heads turned. Conversations died. A receptionist fumbled her pen as Alana ordered, "The names of the 3 officers outside. I want their records on my desk by noon." Her voice was calm, but it struck like thunder. She stopped by the mural of past commanders, all white men, frozen in power poses. Without flinching, she walked into the dusty, forgotten office meant to be hers. A cracked chair, rusty cabinet, a scratched window reading, "No belong here." She smiled, not with joy, but with a burning will to change everything to be why. 8:17 a.m. Captain Miller arrived. Polite on the surface, disdain clear beneath. When Alana asked about officer conduct protocols, he hesitated. "Under review," he muttered. She didn't need more to see what this place was built on. Rotting foundations hidden behind polished badges. As she walked the halls, officers pretended not to see her. Some typed on unplugged keyboards, others flipped blank papers. Alana finally spoke. "I didn't come here to make friends. I came to fix what's broken. Starting today." Her words hung in the air like a silent explosion. One man noticed. Officer Miguel Banks, young, alert, untouched by corruption yet. 2 days later, Banks stepped into her office. "I need to report things I've seen," he said. His voice trembled, but his eyes were steady. He spoke of ignored calls in black neighborhoods, falsified reports, and abuse swept under the rug. Alana listened, noting every word. "Do you want to be part of the solution, Officer Banks?" His reply was immediate. "Yes, ma'am." That night, she dug through files. Sergeant Jenkins, a name that kept surfacing, spotless on paper, but too clean, too perfect. She requested footage of an assault on a black teenager, Miracle Sanchez. Lost, they claimed. Conveniently. The next morning, she ordered an audit of Jenkins' arrests over 5 years and called in the teenager's mother. Her tires were slashed before noon. A note taped to her car. "Leave before it gets worse." Alana smiled. Cold, fearless, the emergency meeting. Commander shuffled in, Jenkins arriving last, gum in his mouth, mocking grin on his face. Alana stood tall, writing 3 words on the board. Conduct. Changed out accountability. "Starting today," she said, "your masks are coming off. Every file will be reviewed. Every abuse uncovered. Every lie burned down." Whisper spread. Jenkins leaned back, smug. "You're outnumbered," he muttered, but Alana just smiled, deadly calm. "You're mistaken, Sergeant. You've just been invisible until now." Before the end of the meeting, a message buzzed on her phone. Banks had found something buried in the archives. An old, unsanctioned recording from Jenkins' patrol car. One that should have been wiped but wasn't. Alana's hand hovered over the play button. Jenkins shifted in his seat, sensing something was wrong. She pressed play. Screams echoed from the speaker. The sound of flesh hitting concrete. A teenager's voice crying out. Jenkins' unmistakable voice, snarling. "Next time, shut your mouth." The room fell silent, but Alana's smile widened. "Precinct 86 is about to wake up," she whispered, "and I'm turning on every light." And that was just the beginning. Commander Alana Reed stood her ground before her officers. From today, every use of force report goes to an external board. Every patrol car must record. Intimidation and evidence tampering will end in immediate suspension. Her tone cut through the room like steel. Jenkins laughed. Who's going to enforce that? I am, Alana replied, unshaken. And if anyone objects, resignation forms are waiting. The shift was immediate. Officer Miguel Banks exchanged a look with her, a silent vow of loyalty. It had begun. No more hiding. No more fear. Alana Reed knew she wasn't just fighting individuals. She was dismantling a rotten culture. Within days, more officers began stepping forward. Officer Martina Cruz spoke first. Years of harassment, Commander. They blamed me for complaining, ruined my career, she confessed, voice trembling but determined. Alana documented it all. She called it the Gray Book, filled with stories of racism, abuse, and suppression. It wasn't just testimony, it was evidence. And with every name, every date, she felt the walls crack a little more. Retaliation came fast. Her tires were slashed. Threat notes slid under her door. A bullet arrived in a brown envelope. One for every rule you break. Alana didn't back down. Threats don't scare me. Silence does, she announced publicly. Banks stood clapping. Cruz joined him. Soon more followed. A current of change swept through the halls. Alana worked day and night, compiling the full story of Precinct 86. Corruption, cover-ups, abuses hidden under mountains of falsified reports. After weeks of tireless digging, a 300-page file sat on her desk. A complete blueprint for justice. She delivered it to Deputy Director Dalia Torres, known for her iron integrity. Torres opened the file, eyes wide. Commander, this is explosive. It's truth, Alana said calmly. And it's time the city faced it. What followed shook the entire city. Media headlines exploded. Commander exposes years of abuse. The woman who shattered Precinct 86. Some praised her, others condemned her, calling her a traitor. Her personal life was scrutinized, but she stayed silent, focused. Then came a simple letter from a little girl. Dear Commander Reed, my dad says you're brave. I want to be brave too. Thank you. Sophia. It reminded Alana why she began this fight. Not for power, but for justice. 1 month later, the mayor stood before cameras with Alana by his side. Thanks to Commander Reed, we are rebuilding trust. Corrupt officers are removed. New leadership is coming. Precinct 86 will be a place of dignity again. When Alana spoke, she didn't hold back. This was never about revenge. It was about righting wrongs. About proving that the badge must protect the innocent, not shield abusers. This is only the beginning. The applause was deafening. That evening, Alana returned to her precinct. Officers who once ignored her now stood outside, saluting with respect. Banks, Cruz, and many more. She felt tears prick her eyes, not from defeat, but from victory. The Gray Book turned into official investigations. New policies came into force. Officers who once laughed behind her back now worked under strict oversight. Young recruits entered the precinct inspired by her courage, seeing law enforcement through a different lens. For protection, not oppression, in the following months, Alana oversaw the hiring of new officers from diverse backgrounds. She established mentorship programs, ensured trauma support for victims, and placed integrity above rank. Complaints dropped, trust in the community grew, and for the first time in decades, Precinct 86 became a beacon of reform. Sergeant Jenkins was dismissed after multiple offenses surfaced. Corrupt captains resigned or faced prosecution. Meanwhile, Banks rose quickly, becoming a respected leader under Alana's guidance. Cruz, once silenced, became head of the precinct's harassment prevention unit. Alana, however, never sought glory. She stayed focused on her mission, changing not just a precinct, but the future of policing in her city. Months later, a plaque was unveiled in the precinct's entrance. Precinct 86, reformed under Commander Alana Reed, 2025. Dedicated to those who stood for truth when silence was easier. The same evening, Alana stood by herself, looking at the mural of former commanders. Rows of white men who ruled through fear, arrogance, and secrecy. Now, her name joined theirs, not as a symbol of power, but of courage. She smiled softly. The battle had been long, the road brutal, but change had arrived. Not as a whisper, but as a roar. For the first time, Precinct 86 stood for justice, and Commander Alana Reed knew. The system didn't break her. She broke the system and rebuilt it strong.